Okay. Where were you born, Lamon?
I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana.
And what kind of house did you live in? What kind of house? What kind of family did you come up in?
The oldest of four boys. Um, my mother and father, I guess they split up before I was really too young to remember. But when I got about, I don't know, maybe about 11, my mother met a guy and she married him, and then we moved on the west side. Well, I mean, I was from the west side. We moved even further west, where they bought a house together.
Hmm. And what kind of neighborhood was it that you grew up in?
Uh,
Almost after 11?
this neighborhood is actually called the neighborhood itself is called Hallville. It's considered to be the worst neighborhood in the city of Indianapolis to this date.
Wow. So a tough life. Tough neighborhood.
Yeah.
And what kind of kid were you?
And I think I was a good kid. I like to use the word victim of my environment, but it was really my mother. Her strength and just her faith in God that helped me to see the light. That helped me to seek a better life for myself and for my family. And when kids start looking up to me in my community, it gave me a sense of pride. So I didn't want to let them down. So I strove to better myself in terms of the way I carried myself and the things that I did, in public.
Yeah. And so you got along good with her new boyfriend?
Well, of course, any young boy is going to be rebellious, but yeah, I grew to love him. I grew to love him and accept him. He was there for me, and my father, he was there when he felt like it. But that you can't be a part-time dad. But I guess he did the best he could. But my stepfather, he was there for me.
That's cool, man. And who got you interested in boxing?
My mother got me interested in boxing at an early age because I was a big Bruce Lee fan, and Bruce Lee used to be a big fan of boxing. He was a big fan of Muhammad Ali, and
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of transferred over because at the point when she said I'm going to put you in boxing, it was like it was. I was okay with it, because they didn't offer martial arts. They didn't offer karate when I was a kid, which is what I wanted to be because I grew up watching all the kung fu theaters, all the
Mm-hmm.
movies they used to play. So it just transferred over, and I just took the same mentality to be a fighter. I took that and applied it to boxing.
Mm-hmm. And how old were you when you first walked into a gym?
I was 7.
Oh, wow. And were you good right away?
No.
No.
I was terrible. I wasn't good because, there's not a lot of good trainers in Indiana. I mean, they can teach you with so much because, they don't get that exposure of fighting on the national level. And, you don't get big names coming through a town like that when it comes to boxing. So, I was just hungry for it, and God said, "Seek and you shall find," and I did that. I got better. I won everything there was to win in Indiana, and so as a result, I ended up looking for something bigger and better, and I thought I was going to come to the East Coast when I prayed to God to help me, and it actually ended up leading me to the West Coast, which is where I am.
How old were you when you moved out west?
I was 18.
And you were still an amateur, or were you a pro at that time?
No, I was amateur. I was amateur.
So what age were you when you turned pro?
Let's see. How old was I when I turned pro? I turned pro in it was the end of '96.
Mm-hmm.
So what was I like? 24? Leo was
Yeah, okay.
something like that.
You were training for the Olympics, huh?
Well, I was actually I was actually the team captain for the Olympics. Because they picked our team actually 2 years out.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a result, I traveled the world and I represented the United States. I was the #1 heavyweight for 2.5 years as amateur.
Mm-hmm.
I knocked out 75% of everybody I fought.
Wow.
And when it came down to the finals, I was already on the team. I just had to keep my spot. But, you know, I was going through this little thing called divorce. And, you know, so it ended up just really making me lose. So I didn't make it. I lost my seat.
You don't got to tell me anything about divorce, man. You don't got to. It's tough. It's tough.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Did you have kids too?
Not with my wife. I eventually remarried, and we have 3 kids. I have 4 kids altogether.
Yeah, well, that's good. But it makes it hard when you got kids together too, man. You're lucky.
Yeah. Yes, it's just worse than death, man, because at least in death, that person's dead. But for them person to still be alive, walking around, and you love them, you can't talk to them, that's bad.
Yes, that's so true. You're right. Yeah. All right. What, let's see, your first cousin's with the Birds, right?
Yeah, man, Chris.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Were you close growing up too?
No, man, I didn't know that he was my cousin until we got older. And, you know, my mother is our family historian. And, you know, our family reunion, someone would always get up and tell, like, how our family came together and the various different names. But my grandmother's maiden name is Bird. Mm-hmm. And her father's name was John Bird, which is also their relation, because their last name was Bird, and John Bird was some relation to them too. So, you know, that's how we're tied.
Yeah. And what was your total amateur record at the end? What was the record? Well,
you know what? To be honest, I can't tell you word for word. So just rounding it off, it was like something like 90-10 with like 75 knockouts.
Wow. Yeah, no. It's a high percentage of knockouts for an amateur.
Yeah, I had a lot of anger.
Yeah, I guess you let it out where it mattered. What did it feel like to be the 1995 U.S. heavyweight champion? How'd that feel?
It felt good, man, because, you know, to say this is what I've strived for, and to achieve it, you know, it's an awesome feeling, man. It's a great feeling, and you know, just to know that people who saw me running in the mornings, who saw me shadowboxing in the evenings, that saw me tired going to and from the gym, for them to, you know, see that work paid off for me, you know, that made me feel good, because that encouraged them. And, you know, my life is really about, you know, encouraging other people, man. You know, that's what it's about.
Yeah, yeah. And in 1995, you went to Argentina for the Pan Am Games. What was Argentina like for a young kid? I know you were.
Well, it was great, man. I remember when Mary J. Blige had just came out with the 411, and Al Mitchell, the head coach, he played it so much I won't listen to it no more to this day. we was over there for like 2 weeks before we even fought, man. And unfortunately, because of the rules, when you get sick, you can't take medicine, man, like 1 aspirin a week. And I had the flu, and I made it all the way to the finals. But then in the finals, I had to, hold on 1 second for me, please.
You got it.
About that.
No problem, man.
Yeah.
On your time, man.
Yeah, try and get one of these new fighters, this new guy that's going to come work out with me. Try and give him some directions to get to the gym. Also, I was just saying to you, in Argentina, you know, they wouldn't allow me to take any medicine for my cold, man. And so by the time I made it to the finals, I had the full-blown flu, and I'm fighting, of all people, Felix Savon. And I just remember I stayed up the whole entire night walking the floor, because when I laid down, the fluid on my chest would make me cough so hard and it would hurt so much. But I basically stayed up all night. So when I fought this guy, it was like I felt like I won the first round. In the second round, he threw a right hand, and he caught me and he wobbled me. But then the second time, the coaches, I'm still upset about it, as you can tell. He didn't even catch me with a punch that hurt me. It just, the referee felt like I should have an 8 count, so he gave me an 8 count. My coaches stopped the fight. I'm like, what the heck? I wasn't even hurt. So then they said, well, if we don't stop this fight, you won't be able to fight in the Nationals. So I said, so you rather me be number 1 in the United States and be number 1 in the world when I already just beat the number 2 German in the world? So basically they was like, yes. So they stopped the fight. So I had to live with that. But, it's something that, it was like a love-hate type of thing because I did go back to the United States and I did win. But at the same time, beating Felix Savon, I would have been the first American to do it. Nobody from America ever beat that dude.
Yeah.
He was scared to death.
He was scared of you?
He was scared to death. Watch the first round. That dude he's running for dear life. Because I was going to knock him out. Because I knocked out everybody I fought in that tournament leading up to fighting him in the finals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he studied it. He knew you were a scary guy.
Man, they were scared to death.
So nothing really impressed you about him except that punch that got you a little bit?
You know what, man? The thing of it is, it was a slick punch that he threw. It didn't hurt. I mean, it didn't knock me down. It just knocked my equilibrium off. So I stumbled a little bit, but I didn't fall. And what happened was I thought he was going to throw a straight right, and he threw a looping right, and it caught me on the ear. So it just knocked my balance loose. But, like I said, I took the 8 count like a trooper. Like I said, I didn't go down. Then the second time he threw a right hand, it didn't even buckle me, and they gave me an 8 count, and they stopped the fight. So it's like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but it don't make sense to be number 1 in the United States.
Yeah.
I'd rather be number 1 in the world.
Yeah. Maybe they were trying to look forward to the Olympics. Maybe, tried to qualify for the '96 Olympics, and you'd have met Savon there, I'm sure.
Yep. Yep, probably. You probably right too.
Yeah. But you lost to Nate Jones, and you later met him in the pros. What was he like as an amateur?
Oh, he was a slick fighter, man. I lost to him because of my own ignorance, because me and my wife had been arguing about how I supported her career, and I just wanted her to support my career since my fight was only in Oakland, which ain't nothing but a 30-minute plane ride from L.A., so she says, no, I ain't gonna, I'm like, but I supported you. So then, the crazy part is, I accepted it. I get in the car, I get in the team van, I'm on my way to the venue. They turn the radio on. My ex-wife is in town on the way to the mall to go do an autograph signing. So she came to the city, she just didn't come see me. So, dude, when I walked out there and I didn't see her in the crowd, only thing I wanted to do was knock Nate Jones out, which is something I had already done. I had knocked out everybody I fought, so I was going to knock him out. I was so angry that all he did was hit me and ran. He beat me on points, so that's what it was.
Can't fight with anger.
My mind wasn't there. I was so mad at her. It was like, you tell me you ain't going to come support me, but then to throw dirt in my face, you come to the city that I'm in. They just happened to turn on the radio on the way to the venue to fight Nate Jones. I just happened to hear them say that you're on the way to an autograph signing. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a woman scorned. I don't know why they gotta hurt you so bad.
Well, exactly. You already know.
It's crazy. It's like they always get smart to plot your horrible mood after that. It's like they want to do that to you.
Right.
They want to ruin you.
Right.
Yeah. And then you fought DeVero Williamson and you lost to him too. You're still mad, eh? Just mad.
I felt like I clearly beat DeVero Williamson because it is so funny because after the fight, it's crazy, right? So I'm fighting this dude, and I hit this dude everywhere under his foot because he ain't lifted high enough. And I know I beat this dude on point. After the fight, I see his girlfriend at the time, come running out the stands, running up to her, not to Duval because he ain't got out the ring yet. She come running up to the judge, judging my fight, who just happened to be her dad.
Wow.
So that's self-explanatory.
Yeah. Wow, man. Did you feel any of DeVero's power as an amateur? I know he had a
you know what? I did, man, because I had fought Duval one time as an amateur. We had fought in Wisconsin, man. And it's funny because my friend David Reed, who won the gold medal that year in '96, Al Mitchell, some used to be his trainer. Oh no, excuse me, Tom Mustin. He's still the amateur trainer. He told me that because I had beat Duval, and so they told me that the second fight in Wisconsin, he said Brewster dips. When he dipped, chopped down on the back of his head. So in the third round, I was rolling under the shot, and sure enough, he did just what Al told him to do. He hit me in the back of my head, and they stopped the fight. It didn't knock me out, but it hurt like I was dizzy. But you know, it was just a very unfair thing to do, man, because you know that's an illegal punch, which you know. Tom Mustin, he actually represented the '96 Olympic team as assistant coach. He told me because he was in the corner that you know Al didn't like me because I fought with my hands down, which didn't represent what they wanted United States boxing to represent, and because I knocked people out, I didn't leave it to the judges because that's the way I was taught. So as a result, fighting this guy, I guess you know him doing what any fighter would do, listening to his trainer. He did what he said to do, and it hurt me. So. There you have it.
Yeah. Fighting with your hands down works for some guys, you know?
Well, I don't know too many great fighters that fight with their hands up. I mean, fighting with your hands up is because you lack offense. You lack offense and defense, you know? I mean, I don't really know nobody to fight with their hands up because Frazier, Ali, Mike Tyson, don't nobody fight with their hands up. I mean, Mike slipped.
Yeah, I mean, periods of time that you might hold your hands up, but through the whole fight, you got to do different things and give different angles and everything. You think?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I mean, Jerry Cooney fought with his hands up, but look at Jerry Cooney.
Yeah, yeah.
Even Larry Holmes fought with his hand down.
It's not right to laugh, but you're right. Huh? You got a point.
It is what it is.
How'd you feel losing your chance to go to the Olympics? Was it disappointing?
I was devastated.
I was
devastated, man, because you know, all my life it was a lifelong dream of mine. It's just unfair that you know I supported somebody to help them to achieve their goal, but then when it came time for me to achieve mine, the one person that I really wanted to be in my corner to support me on, you know, they didn't, and as a result, to like I say, to throw mud in my face. They came up there, but they didn't come to see me. So, you know, it really hurt me, man. And, you know, afterwards, it just took me a very long time to get over it, man. But, you know, God is good. I met another woman, and I married her, and like she's 20 times the wife my first wife, and as a result, you know, I've been able to have much success because of her. You know, every man. There's never been in the Bible. There's never been a strong man without a strong woman ever.
You got it, man. You said it. And
so, I just move forward. I mean, yeah, you know, I it's like I always feel like life is a test, and my tests come from God. So I didn't make the Olympics, but that's why when I fought Nate Jones as a pro, I didn't let it stop me. You know, he got my medal, but he wouldn't get my belt, and so. When I fought for the first title, it's so ironic because when I was fighting for the medal, I was fighting him. When I'm fighting for my first belt, I'm fighting him again. So,
yeah. And who trained you when you first turned pro?
Bill Slayton.
Was it Bill Slayton from the first one? Yeah. And he trained you all the way up to right when you fought Klitschko, right?
He died right before I got the chance to fight Vladimir. He died in October. September, October of 2003, and I fought Klitschko in April.
Yeah. And do you remember who you turned pro against and what the result was and where it was?
I think his name was something like Moses Harris or something. We fought at Arizona Charlie's, man, and you know, I never forget it because that's when just it was so much that went into that fight because I lost the guy who was like a big brother to me. If I ever prayed to God for a big brother, he gave me one, and he got killed right before. Right before that, he was at the trials with me and everything, and he just meant a great deal to me. So, it was Olympics, divorce, and losing my best friend all in 3 months. So, it was just a tough time for me.
Yeah, man. That's how it happened with me too, man. It's like everything comes in threes. It seems. That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Tough, man. No one should be going through all that at the same time,
Well, it's like I realize that God don't put more than you can handle, man, and everybody's slate is different. Some people God put more on than they do others, and I guess I'm just one of them people. He got so much confidence, he allows more to be put on me.
Yeah. And you knocked out Moses Harris with a left hook to the body. How'd that feel?
I just remember when I hit him so hard that he came up off his feet, and when he hit the ground, his feet were kicking, and that was my first time fighting in front of people without headgear and everything. So, it was just, it was like, how do I put behind me my negativity? My divorce, losing my best friend, losing the Olympics, and it just. I had to look forward, and looking forward was getting past this guy, which they didn't even tell me he was southpaw. So it was just a lot that went into it, man. A lot.
Yeah. Did you fight a lot of southpaws as an amateur? Did you?
I did, but I never lost to a southpaw. I've never ever lost to a southpaw since I was 7.
Yeah. Wow, man. Beat every single one.
Yep, and I'm left-handed. That's the crazy part about it.
Wow. Yeah. So your jab, your strong hand.
Yes, sir.
And that's why you knocked someone out with a jab. Who'd you knock out? Brian, what was it? Mark Johnson? No, it wasn't Mark Johnson.
It was
Tim Knight.
It was like
Tim Knight.
Yeah, Tim Knight. Yep, Tim Knight.
Knocked him out with a jab.
Yeah, man. Caps was over there trying to inspect my glove after the fight, thinking that I put something in it. So once they found out that I didn't, man, them dudes laughing like crazy.
Yeah, you had 75% knockouts as an amateur. What do they think? You didn't have power like that?
Well, man, I don't know where I got it. Well, I ain't gonna say I don't know where I got it from. My family like naturally strong. The women in my family are naturally taller than the average. The men are very strong. So they say fruit don't fall far from the trees. My grandfather's from Mississippi. He worked hard his whole life. He has big shoulders. So I'm proud to say that's my grandfather.
Yeah. He's still around too?
Yes, sir.
That's great. Yeah. and you knocked out Mark Johnson in 1987. You fought Mark Johnson, and you knocked him out with a body shot too. So who was teaching you to go to the body as a heavyweight? Not many heavyweights do.
Bill Slayton taught me to go to the body. So you kill the body, the head to go with it. So I always thought going to the body was the best thing, because when you go to a man's head, if he can recover, you'll be so tired that he may even beat you. But if you hit a man to the body and hurt him, he'll never be the same. So I just learned to attack the body and then bring it up.
Yeah. And how old were you when you moved to California? Was that after your career was over?
I was 18 when I came to California.
You were 18. And
right out of high school.
Yeah. And then you fought John Kaiser. And you.
Oh yeah, man.
You fought him at the
Olympic.
Yeah, at the Olympic.
Cruiserweight. Yep. Fought him at the Olympic Auditorium.
How'd that feel, fighting at the Olympic with all the history there?
It was great, man. Because it had a lot of history, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah.
John Kaiser was a crafty dude that I just couldn't I mean, I don't know, man. It was like he was crafty. He moved a lot. He was quick. So, he put his survival skills in the play. I beat him every round, but it wouldn't, it was just, he gave me a lot of movement. It was difficult.
Yeah. And then you put more wins together, and then you ended up fighting a journeyman named Gary Lane. Tough guy.
No, man, that dude, man, I hit him with shots that should have put him under the hospital, but he kept coming back, man. And, it was funny because that was the first time my coach ever made a joke in the middle of the fight. He going to look over at the other corner and look back at me and say, I could hear him whispering. They saying, just keep on doing what you're doing because his fist can't take too much more.
Wow, yeah. And how'd you feel at that point in your career beating Gary Lane? Did you feel you were ready? That was your first time going 10 rounds, right?
Yeah, it was cool, man. I had been ready, but it was just, the politics that come into play when it comes to boxing. But I honestly, I have been ready, man. I really had.
Yeah. Then in your next fight after Gary Lane, you fought Louis Monaco, and you knocked him out with a crazy bunch of punches.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the strongest man in boxing at that time. Said he bench pressed 500 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I saw a fight where he hit Buster Douglas and laid him out.
Yeah.
They called it something, but he knocked Buster Douglas out. So I knew going into that fight not to take him for granted. I went out there and took care of him.
Yeah. And how did it feel to you fought Everett Bigfoot Martin next? What did you learn from Bigfoot Martin?
Well, with Bigfoot, man, I just learned that I knew that he was a crafty dude going into the fight, and he wasn't somebody to take for granted. And I felt like he was a challenge because, when you get young bucks, man, a lot of times their ego get in the way of thinking they're good enough to beat these old crafty dudes. So I went out there and put him on the chessboard. I wasn't in the rush, and I made him make mistakes, and I took advantage of the opportunities that he gave me, and then I was able to actually stop him, I was the first person to date that ever had him off his feet.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, he said, I sparred with Mike Tyson a whole lot of times. He's like, you punch harder than Mike Tyson.
How's that feel to hear that?
I heard a lot of times in my career. It's definitely an honor.
Yeah. Mike's the I guess the measuring stick of hard punchers. So it'd be hard.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. You can even be put in the same category as Mike, and you're doing something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, I guess I could say to date that I'm the only man in the heavyweight division that has to leave his own country to go get fights, because nobody in the United States would fight me at the point when I had my title.
Yeah.
No matter how much money we was offering them.
Wow. Yeah, man. And no one wants to fight a puncher,
Well, they fought Mike. They just wouldn't fight me.
Yeah, but Mike had the money and the name and all that, so it went along with everything. They already planned to go in there and lay down for all that money,
Yep. You say that again.
And
say that again.
A few wins later, you're fighting at Madison Square Garden. What's that like, fighting at the Garden for the first time?
It was great because I got to stand on the same scale that Joe Louis stood on, man, and that meant a lot to me. History, I always felt like the Matrix was passed down to me.
Yeah. How was the fight like? You went another 10 rounds at Madison Square Garden with Richard Mason. What was the fight itself like?
It was a content fight. I just felt like I had to knock him out, so I just put the jab on him because I saw that he couldn't get close to me, so he didn't have enough confidence to try to engage me, so I just kept my distance from him, boxed and got the win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That got you a shot on HBO against the Black Rhino, Clifford Etienne.
Mm-hmm.
Were you,
Dumped on me, man. I did that fight completely wrong. I had trained to fight. I had trained to box him, and then being that was my first fight on HBO, I got so excited, I threw my game plan out the window and just tried to go out there and stand toe to toe and do something I hadn't trained to do. Tore my ACL, my left leg, and had to fight for 10 rounds on one leg. So
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what I get.
Yeah. You had to show your heart in a few times in the ring. Were you nervous? Were you nervous going in that fight with 18? Going on HBO for the first time? No nerves?
No, I wasn't nervous. I really wanted to make a big splash. I tried too hard.
Yeah. And when you got hurt in the first round, what were you thinking at that point?
Well, what I was thinking in the first round was that I cannot get myself to calm down, and I just couldn't get my composure, man. You know, I was just trying too hard, and my mind just wouldn't let me think anything other than I was going to knock him out when I hit him.
Yeah. And what kind of fighter was ATN?
He was a brawler. And the way you beat a brawler is to box him. But see, I didn't train to fight a brawler. I mean, I didn't train to fight him. I trained to box is what I'm trying to say. I didn't train to brawl with him. So now I'm going into this fight. I'm standing cameras, and I'm letting it get the best of me to the point where I say, oh, I'm going to go in here and knock him out, which ain't the thing to do. You're supposed to box a brawler.
Yeah. Yeah. And how'd you feel losing your perfect record?
You know, man, it hurt. It hurt because it's like, I know I was the best out there, but I lost because of my own ignorance. And so I just sucked it up and said, I'll be back. You know, like I start looking at all the other great champions saying, you know, these guys, these champions, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, everybody's lost before, so don't let it get me down.
Yeah. And you had to get better from surgery too after that, right? You had surgery?
I did. I didn't have that type of surgery though. What I did was I went to Canada and I did something that wasn't sanctioned by America that helped me. And once I did that, it got my knee even better. They were saying I was going to be out for a year and a half. I couldn't walk for 3 days after I had that surgery.
Wow. So how long were you out? You came back 4 months later.
I wasn't out too long because I actually rushed. I rushed back, which was my problem because I went from 224 to 290. I did that in like probably about 4 months.
Just making up for lost time.
Well, I was stressing, man, because my wife was pregnant, and it was like, shoot, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, that's scary times, man.
I'm out here in California by myself. I have no other way to provide. I don't have no degree or no trait.
Yeah. And then after the ATN fight, you came back 4 months later and fought Val Smith. So
yeah,
must have been.
That's why I was saying the whole Russian part, because I came in and fought him at my heaviest weight at that point. I was like 230 something, which that was way too big for me. But shoot, I had to put food on the table.
Yeah.
Then I turned around after that and still tried to get my weight down to 224 again, and that's what hurt me, is because when I lost that extra 13 pounds, it just killed me, because I didn't know anything about eating. I didn't know about protein. I didn't know what a carb was. And I'm at Gold's Gym and I'm asking these dudes how to lose weight, because they go on the scale with no fat on their body. But they didn't tell me as a fighter I need to have carbohydrates in my body, which I didn't know what a carb was. So they just told me, just eat chicken and fish. But they didn't explain to me fuel comes from carbs. Fuel comes from pasta and bread and things like that. And so I went into the fight and I just had no energy whatsoever. So as a result, I couldn't even pick my arms up. He was so scared, he just ran and won on decision.
Wow. And then after that fight, you got you back on HBO, though. You fought Charles Schuford on HBO.
That was a fight I was talking about.
Yeah. What happened in that fight, though? Like, what do you remember about Charles Schuford?
Well, what happened in that fight was that I was struggling to come down from my 30s to 224, so I asked the guys at Gold's Gym how to lose their weight. So I ended up, just like I said, drinking water, running 5-6 miles every day. I got my weight down, but I was weak, and I thought I was weak because I was training hard. But I didn't know I was weak because I didn't have no energy. I didn't know what energy was. I thought energy came from eating red meat and eating spinach like Popeye, but that's not true. And it was my ignorance of nutritional eating, which is why I lost that fight.
How'd you feel after losing? Now you got 2 losses. What are you
devastated. I was devastated because that fight right there was the worst fight I had ever had because I couldn't pick my arms up. I was just so tired. He was just so scared of me that he just decided just to box me and run. If he had sat down on his punches, man, he'd have knocked me out. Because I'm telling you, I used to have to, I used to say in that fight, all right, pick your foot up, use your jab. I had to talk myself through everything I was going to do. I was so tired. I didn't have no energy. I was dehydrated for 2 weeks after that fight. I was taking IVs and everything. Stupid weightlifters. Yeah, you can. That's why they be passing out on stage when they posing and stuff, because they ain't got no energy in their body. But I didn't know that. I didn't know what energy was. I thought energy just was eating food. That was my fault.
Man, you took like a full year off after that. What were you thinking about after that? Just trying to get a new plan going?
Well, yeah, man, the thing of it was after the Schufer fight, it was just like, man, it was really about educating myself on proper eating, rehabbing my knees still, getting my weight down, and just really just trying to figure some things out of like,
You came back and you got by a guy named Joey Guy, and then you got a shot at your first pro title. You fought Nate Jones.
Yeah,
rematch of the amateur fight.
Yeah, they say don't hook with a hooker, and he tried to hook with me. So as a result, I knocked him out on the Joey Guy, and then like I said with Nate Jones, at this point now, I'm educated on eating and just dieting, everything I need to do right, So, I did that, and then, like I said, I made sure that, Nate got my medal, but he wouldn't get my belt. So.
How'd you feel avenging that loss?
It felt great, man. It felt great because I felt like I got a chance to set the record straight once for all because, I had beaten Nate 3 times as an amateur. He was a terrific fighter, but I knew I was better, and so I just wanted that chance to prove it. And what better way to prove it than fighting for my first title? So I trained very hard for that fight.
And how'd you feel after the fight was over, holding your title for the first time? New champ.
Like I was on top of the world.
Yeah. And then a couple of fights later, you got your big chance against Klitschko, fighting for the world championship. Tell me about that fight. How'd you find out you had that fight? Who told you about it?
Well, the WBO had sent me a letter, and they said that you're next in line to fight for the title. So they said that you can't fight until you fight for that title. So as a result, they made me sit down for over a year while they let Vladimir fight. And then, lo and behold, Don was making a deal behind my back, which he didn't think I know, which was, if you sign with me, you ain't got to fight Lamon Brewster. But as a result, Vladimir didn't want to fight. He didn't want to sign with Don. So once he didn't sign with Don, Don made sure he had to fight me, and then I executed my plan.
And did you train at all with Bill Slayton for that fight, or not at all? You trained with Buddy?
Well, at that point, yeah, I was training with Bill, but then he became terminally ill, which, as I say, he passed away 7 months or 8 months before I got the chance to fight. And so, with that being said, man, I dedicated that fight to him because he was more than just a trainer. He was like a father to me, too.
Tell me about him, man. What kind of guy was he?
Bill was one of the greatest people that you've ever met on earth. Even to this day, if you ask anybody that know him, everybody who ever knew him were influenced by him. People like Mickey Rourke, people like, I mean, gosh, man, the majority of the trainers in California that knew him, man. I mean, actually, this guy, he was an angel, man. He wasn't even a man; he was an angel, and that's the way people viewed him.
It's sad losing people like that.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Great guy. He taught me more about being a man than any man, including my father.
Wow. Man, what can you say about a guy like that? You know?
He was my custom model.
And after that fight, or after he passed away, you found Buddy McGirt to train you. What made you click with Buddy McGirt?
Well, I just knew Buddy from just being around boxing, man, and you know I knew Buddy was a hot trainer. You know, he was a good trainer. You know, and then it's like it's hard to question a man who was a 2 or 3 time world champion. You know, so I went in. You know, I wanted to work with him because I had moved my family back to Indiana, and you know he was in Florida, and I wanted to get out of California for a little bit. So that's when I moved my family back to Indiana.
Yeah. And how was it training with Buddy? Was it a lot different than training with Bill Slayton?
Yeah, it was. You want some water? Yeah. You said it training with Buddy versus Bill.
Yeah. What was it? Was it a big change?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because you know Bill went about things from a scientific way. You know, and his Bill's style of training. Style of teaching was different from any other trainer I ever had. So, you know, there are no man ever replaced Bill. Everybody got their own style.
Now, going through the pre-fight press conferences and stuff, did you talk to Vladimir at all?
Nah, you know, I'm really not big on talking, man. I don't believe I really got nothing to say because it ain't never nothing personal. It's just I want to prove I'm better than my opponent at what it is that we both choose to do.
So you were real confident going in, fighting him when you saw him and stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And your training camp made you feel confident too, then. So you had a great training camp, right?
Yeah. You know, they say, you got to give 100% and dedicate yourself, and that's what I did. I didn't cut no corners, and I gave it to God, and I was able to go in there and pull it out.
Yeah, tell me about the fight. How'd it go? Tell me about your memories, man.
Well, the memories of it was just that I watched his fights before we even fought, and I already saw that he got tired in the later rounds. So we devised a plan to come up to make him work real hard early to take him into the later rounds, because when he gets tired, he has mental breakdowns, but it was just getting him into the deep water because he could punch, and, you know, he was in great shape. So, you know, that's what we worked on. We worked on taking him into the late rounds and making him drown, and that's what we did. And, you know, my sparring partners trained, you know, they worked very hard. I had a lot of sparring partners, and it was all about conditioning and sticking to the plan, not trying to win the rounds, but just to make him work, make him hold, make him grab, make him always feel like he got to fight every second of every round, and that's what I did.
Yeah. What were you thinking? Were you surprised at all by his power when you first felt it?
Nah, because I never register pain into my mind, because you can't afford to register pain in your mind when you're fighting, because if you get hit with a good shot and you stop to think about how that felt, well, then guess what? If he's still punching, then what you gonna do then? Yeah. So if he hit me with a good shot, I won't feel it until the next day. I won't even think about it till the next day, because, you know, pain is an emotion caused by fear, caused by pain, caused by flesh and the nerves. That's all controlled by the mind. That's why crazy people don't get hurt. You can't hurt crazy people because they don't let it register. So I just said I wouldn't let it register. You know what I mean? Like when you got a mission, you got to stay focused on your mission. You can't allow yourself to get caught up in the now. You got to be looking down the road. That's what a chess player does.
Yeah, I totally get you. And how'd you feel when you saw the fight was over, the ref waved the fight over? How'd that feel?
I was just thankful to God because all my life I have prayed for Him to allow me to become a world champion.
Yeah.
And being that He did, it was like, okay, wow, I'm champion now. So I spent probably up to 9 months every day waking up like, wow, you heavyweight champion of the world. You know what I mean? Like I was in shock with it.
Yeah.
It
was Michael Buffer that said he knew, right? How's that feel to hear Michael Buffer say that?
I felt great, man, because again, Michael Buffer was somebody that I grew up watching on television as a kid. So for Michael Buffer to say that, it was like, wow, I'm part of history.
Yeah, you gotta feel good.
Yeah.
Man. What did Buddy say to you after?
What's that?
What did Buddy McGirt say to you after?
Well, see, now Buddy didn't start working with me. I was working with a guy by the name of Shadi Saluki at that point, who Shadi Saluki was trained by Bill Slayton, my original trainer. So I didn't start working with Buddy McGirt until about 3 or 4 fights later.
No, I thought you went with Buddy right after that.
There was Shadi Saluki, and then there was it was Shadi Saluki, and then there was Jesse Reed, and then Buddy McGirt. So I had 2 fights. Which was the Klitschko and it was Klitschko and
Kali Mihan.
Kali Mihan with Shadi Saluki. Then with Jesse Reed, there was Andrew Galata and Luan Krasniqi.
Yeah. And what about the Kali Mihan fight? What do you remember about that?
Well, Kali Mihan has a better right than Vladimir Klitschko, that's for sure. Let me talk on it. It was a tough fight, man, mentally, because I allowed myself to get soft because I knew I could beat Kali, or at least I thought that way, so I didn't think I'd have to work as hard. But, the thing is, I didn't realize that Kali was getting up to fight me, whereas, me, I'm thinking, I'm going in here just like in sparring, and shoot, he bought his A game.
And then he broke your jaw in the 8th round. What's that feel like?
Well, he didn't break my jaw. No, he didn't break it, but I did have a stress fracture. I did have a crack in my jaw. I can say that much.
Yeah. So a hairline fracture.
Yeah.
How's that feel to fight with a guy who hits that hard with a broken jaw?
Man, I can't tell you because again, I don't allow pain to register into my head. Man, I just knew afterwards for a few weeks, my jaw was sore, but I was still able to eat everything, so I was cool.
Yeah. Did you feel you could win to the very end of the fight?
Against Kali?
Yeah. Did you feel like it was a split decision, wasn't it?
I'm great at counting rounds, man, and I knew at some point when I came back into the corner, I knew I was losing because I wasn't fighting up to my full potential, man. And one of the things was that when I got there, I remember the first thing his son did was run up to me and gave me a hug, and that just really melted me, man. It's like, how can I fight this dude when I know his family and this and that? My mind just wasn't in the right place. Like I say, Kali got up for me, but I didn't get up for him until I came back into the fight. I came back and sat down in the corner like the 5th round and was like, man, I'm losing this fight, ain't I? They like, yeah. It was at that point I had to just really dig deep, man, and put everything aside. Kali put on a great fight, man, but I pulled it out. And I knew I just barely pulled it out, too, but I did it.
Yeah. What would you guys say to each other after that? Did he feel that you deserved the decision, or did he feel he won?
I don't know, man. To be honest, we went 8 pieces together after the fight, and everybody's looking at us like that. How y'all just was in there trying to kill each other? Now y'all sitting there eating pizza with each other. But, his family's my family. My family's his family, man. And, it was like, hey, what we do, we just do profession. That's all. I just want to prove I'm better than him. It ain't nothing personal.
Did you talk about the fight when you were eating pizza, or did you talk about something else?
And yeah, I was mad at him. I was like, man, did you have to hit me that hard with that right hand?
That's funny, man. And then after that, you fought Galata.
Yeah.
dropped him 3 times in the first round. What do you remember about Andrew Galata in that fight?
Well, I remember never being that angry before, because the day before he had tripped out on me. He was like, out of nowhere, he jumped in my face talking about what he's gonna do to me, and I'm like, brother, first of all, don't get it twisted. I'm from the street, and if you do something like that to me, you liable to get shot. Cause I'm not. I don't know who you think I am, but anyway, I bit the bullet on that. But then when I was in the locker room, I'm walking out of the locker room. For the first time in my whole entire life, I experienced people spitting. They was literally spitting and throwing their drinks on me. Like, dude, first of all, I'm fighting you in your backyard. Second of all, you ain't even my mandatory. I don't even have to be fighting you, and you acting like you gonna bully me. Your people spitting on me. They ain't showing me no appreciation. And the third thing is I'm fighting you in your backyard. I'm like, hold on, man. Like you ain't my mandatory. I'm fighting you in your backyard, and you trying to bully me. And so I was just so angry. I couldn't wait to get in the ring, man. I just wanted to, I didn't want to fight. I just wanted to kill that dude. So that's what I did with a bell rung. I say I've never had a man stand toe-to-toe with me but ATN, and that was because I didn't train to stand toe-to-toe with him, man. I tore my ACL. And he thought he was? He was getting carried out of there. So that's what I did. I broke the world record. I got the fastest stock out in heavyweight history.
Yeah. Wow, man. How do you feel watching him bounce off the floor like that? You just bouncing.
Want some water? You know what, man? The thing of it is I didn't have no emotion. I really don't have a lot of emotion when I fight. I don't feel nothing. I don't think nothing. I'm not happy and I'm not sad. I just have an objective. My objective is to destroy.
What are you thinking about when you're training for him? Do you think about what might happen, what he's known to do and stuff?
Lay out. You said what now?
How do you feel when you're training for him and you know you're going to fight this guy and his history of biting and hitting low and cheating all kinds of ways? What do you think about when you're training for him?
Well, I don't worry about that, man, because I'm a dog. I think if I do everything I'm supposed to do, I ain't got to worry about what he gonna try to do, because I'm imposing my will on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And when you say it again, I'm sorry.
Now go ahead.
Why did you choose to go to Germany to fight Krasnicki?
Don King chose that because he thought out of sight, out of mind. He thought that by having me off of American TV after breaking a world record, that he thought that out of sight, out of mind, I ain't got to pay Brewster the money that I would have to pay him after he just broke the world record beating Andrew Galata. Well, it worked and it didn't work. What happened was I had 37 million people outside of America watch my fight, and it made me even more famous. The bad thing about it is that he got the money. But he was my #1 mandatory. And the way they did it was that I fought him on the same year. I fought him on the birthday of Max Mellon, the same year Max Mellon died, and I was supposed to lose. I just put it like that, What better way than to have a white heavyweight champion who's the first German heavyweight challenger since Max Mellon beat Joe Louis.
Yeah. And did you feel you should have been behind on the scorecards at the time of the stoppage?
Well, they said I was behind, but when I watched the fight, and everybody I know watched the fight was like, "No, you wasn't behind." But what can you expect when it's their judge, their referee, their everything?
And did you hear about Germany? You knew about Germany not treating.
Yeah, I knew about it. But like I say, man, God said if I'm with you, it could be against you. So he don't say if you're in America. You know what I mean? So it don't matter where I go.
Well, thankfully you stopped him, so you didn't have to worry about it. You escaped it.
Oh, he was going to get stopped. I really stopped him in the 6th round, but if you watch the count, they counted to about 20.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude was like 1, and then he was like, "Oh, I think I'm going to go change clothes. Come back. 2. Look at those people out in the crowd." And he even helped him up.
Oh, did he? You saw it during the fight. I mean, what are you thinking of when you see that blatant cheating for him?
you could see my face because when I knocked him down and he started giving me a slow 8 count, I looked over at my corner. You could just see the look on my face like, there's no way they're going to let me win. So I just said, okay, well, if this dude if he ain't willing to kill me, then he can't win. Because I just went into that frame of mind where you're going to have to kill me to win. So I had bad intentions on every punch I threw until I knocked him out.
Yeah. How did you feel when you saw him quitting? He quit himself. They didn't want to stop it.
I was in disbelief. Because they still try to keep him fighting. He told them, I'm not going back out there.
Yeah.
You can see it. When I knocked him down, he got up. He walked over the corner and was like, nah, I've had enough.
Yep.
They was like, come on. He was like, no, I'm not doing it. Because he knew I wasn't going to quit.
Yeah.
He pitched bluff probably about 2 or 3 weeks after that.
Wow. Then after that fight, you didn't what?
What's that?
After that fight, you fought Sergey Likahovich. Then you suffered a detached retina in that fight.
First round.
Yeah. What was
First
that
round.
like? What's that like fighting the whole fight with a detached retina?
Well, I'll put it like this. I thought divorce was the worst thing that a man could ever go through pain-wise. I would take divorce any day over that. That was the worst. I'll put it like this. It felt like a fat man was... First of all, I felt like somebody pulled my eye out of my socket with the vein still connected.
Yeah.
It felt like a fat man was standing on that vein and they had sprinkled salt on that vein and I still had a fight.
Jeez. There's no quitting, you know. How do you not quit?
For what?
How do you not
What do you mean?
Because...
What do you mean? Go back what? Go back to the ghetto? Go back to selling drugs and prostitutes and beepers and gold teeth and Jerry curls? Is that what I'm going to go back to?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm going to quit to do that, right?
Not everyone would stay in a fight, though. Not everyone does it. You know that's
well, yes, they would, because if somebody breaking your house and they trying to hurt your family, you ain't going to quit if they cut your leg off. So that's not true. That ring is mine. That ring is what had got me out of the hood. You know what I mean? So I'm not finna give that up because that's all I got.
Yeah. But you know, some fighters do quit.
Yeah, but them ain't real fighters. Those are people that they're in boxing because it seems interesting and fun. They're not warriors. Any great athlete, especially a black fighter, you can get any black dude that got natural talent. He could be a fighter. But it's like you can't make a German Shepherd be a pit bull. Nor can you make a Great Dane or a Rottweiler or a St. Bernard. Only a pit bull can be a pit bull, and I'm a pit bull. And I prove that because it ain't about how good I look. It ain't about nothing else other than the will and desire that's in my heart.
Yeah. And how'd you feel losing your title to Likahovich?
Well, I was hurt, man, because they didn't give me time to train for it, man. You know, I got set up because when I found out about the fight, they had already made the fight.
Wow.
I mean, they knew I wasn't in shape for that fight, and they gave me less than They gave me what, seven months to get ready for the fight. It was like, oh, you got to take it, or we're gonna renew your contract. We're gonna add that extra on. So you know, it was set up. I didn't get time to train for the fight.
Yeah.
I mean, just putting it out there, I didn't get time to train for it. You know, I mean, that was the most overweight coming into a fight. You know, but Don won a white heavyweight champion, and that's what he got. And when Don wants something, he gets it. That's just what it is.
Yeah. And then you had to have surgery on the retina. How'd that go? What's that like? Surgery for the torn
like
retina?
I said, man, I take divorce any day. I mean, from a level of 1 to 10, there was a 10 constantly, and then they telling me he didn't cut a nerve. They telling me we don't know why you having this pain because it's not normal with this type of procedure. Oh, and by the way, we don't know when it's gonna go away. So at that point, I was ready to end my life because I'm having this pain, and you telling me I might be stuck with this pain for the rest of my life. Nobody come see me. Nobody call me. I'm talking about all these people I done flew around the world. I done took care of. I done represented. Nobody comes to see me. Nobody called me.
Wow. Yeah. So, how long did it take to recover from that?
And it took me about 9 months.
Yeah.
I was laid face down. I was laid face down for 18 hours out of the day for the first 3 months.
Jeez. Wow. Then how long did you train for the next Klitschko fight?
Probably about 2.5 months after being out for a year and 2 months, because the minute my leg stepped out of the hospital door, not even my back leg was out, I get a call from his people. They said, "Oh, we want to fight you again in a rematch." And the whole time for the 2 years I had my title, he wouldn't even mention my name. Now he's calling me out. So I'm saying, yeah, I'll fight him. Of course I'll fight him, because this will be my quickest way to get my title back. So I said, just give me a tune-up, then I'll be ready. They said, "Well, Mr. Bruce, how much can we pay you not to have a tune-up?" So there it go, you know. So I can take care of my family and I go back to the hood. All right. So after being out for a year and 4 months, being face down for 9 months, then I decided to take a fight. So, you know, but like I say, it was okay, because I knew if I hit him, I would knock him out. But I was just too rusty going back into the fight. But they knew what they were doing by not letting me have a tune-up. So, you know, they got what they wanted. I got what I wanted.
Yeah. Did you feel he improved at all?
Nope.
You didn't feel anything?
I mean, unless you call improvement, he can run a little better. If you want me to be proud and say, "Oh, yeah, he can run a lot better."
Yeah. And then after that, how did you feel losing that opportunity? Did it bother you losing that, or you just chalk it up to ring rust?
After that, man, I wasn't even fazed by it, because I felt like there could be a potential rematch between us, which is when it'll really count, when it'll be, you know, we'll be breaking the tie. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so that's where I looked at it.
Yeah. Was there any talk of a third fight? Or they just take the win and run away?
Man, them boys don't want to fight me.
No.
But I was going to make sure that I put myself in a position where they would have to fight me.
Mm-hmm. Then after that fight, you fought Danny Batchelder. Did you promote that fight?
Yeah, I promoted that fight.
Yeah. How's that going? How did you decide to get into promoting?
Well, you know, I just felt like it would make sense, because when I first tried to come back, I couldn't get nobody to fight me in the United States. Like, no heavyweight wanted to fight me. And the ones that would, they wanted so much money that it was like they could dog on their retire for the rest of their life. And I'm trying to tell them, like, look, I'm not the champ. I don't have the belt. But they weren't trying to hear that. So I said, well, let me just do my own thing, you know, because these promoters, you know, they were offering me these figures. Like, what you think, I'm a dumb nigga? You know what I mean? Like, dude, I'm a former heavyweight champion of the world, and you trying to offer me some peanuts? So I did my own show, and I had 8,000 people.
Yeah. Wow. And you happy about that? Happy about the outcome and stuff?
Yeah, you know, it was a rush job for me. You know, I was just trying to get the rust off of me and fighting him, and you know, I was able to do that.
Yeah, that was another year-long layoff. Why were you out a year after the Klitschko fight? Were you just did you still want to go on after that fight?
Well, after the Klitschko fight, I had some damage to my eye, and I had to get it fixed.
Okay. So I
had what's that?
You were still set on continuing your career? There was no thinking about retirement? You were still fully there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did, you know, it was like, I wanted to have my rematch with Vladimir eventually, but I wanted to get the rust off of me, so that's what it was really all about. But, you know, I just like I said, I just came back to LA, man, and, you know, just was going with the flow, trying to get my feet back in the water, that's all.
Mm-hmm. And then after you got that win over Batchelder, you fought your last 3 fights in Germany. Why did you go to Germany to fight 3 fights in a row?
I went to Germany because nobody in America will fight me.
No.
As I say, nobody wants to fight a dude that punches as hard as I do at all. Trust me.
No.
And so, you know, I had to go over there, and that's what I did. And when I went over there, you know, I didn't know that the guy, Chris Meyer, who was the president of Silent Promotions, didn't want them to sign me. It was his brother, which is Wilfred Chamberlain's son. He signed me, but I guess he didn't tell Chris Meyer because Wilfred Chamberlain doesn't run a Silent Promotion anymore. Chris Myers is the president, his illegitimate son, I guess they were saying. And so those two had conflict. For whatever reason, he didn't like me, so they made it a point to try to get me beat, and that's what they did.
Yeah. Well, your first fight in Germany, you fought Michael Spratt. You won 8 rounds there. What was that fight like with Michael Spratt? How the Germans treat you when you go there to just fight?
Oh, they cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm a hero over there anyway. You know, I'm like Elvis everywhere in the world, but here. And, I'm serious. It's funny, but I can't walk down the street in no country but this one.
Yeah, I believe it.
But you know, it was cool. I mean, it was cool. The Michael Spratt fight was a good fight. He's a slick fighter, and you know, he's tough, and he got that experience. But my thing was just to basically put the jab on him, and if I could find a knockout, knock him out. But if not, just keep on doing what I was doing, and that's what I was able to do successfully.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, Michael Spratt, I beat him on points, was able to get some rust off of me. You know?
Yeah. And then you fought Gabenga Alupin, and he got a decision, but you were coming on at the end of that fight. Did you feel like you lost that fight? Or?
Man, I've been fighting since I was 7 years old. I know how to count points. I beat that dude.
Mm-hmm. So
and that's why I just like, okay, if y'all want to say I lost, okay. But anybody who watched the fight, they can see that I won. Now, I could have knocked him out, but I didn't think I had to since I was with Silent Promotions and they was my promoters. And that's when it all started coming out, that they didn't want me under their promotion, which I don't understand why they just didn't let me go.
Yeah, it's strange. So then your last fight was with Sauerland too, against Hellenius?
Yep.
And what did you think about that fight? What happened with that?
Well, it was a setup from the go, because when I got there, they asked me what time did I want to be at the fight, and I told them, I said, what time am I fighting? They said 9 o'clock. I said I want to be there at 7 and give me 2 hours to get ready for the fight. Well, while I'm in there. When I get there for the fight, excuse me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I lost my earpiece.
Nope.
All right, so I was saying when I got there to the fight, man, they were like, well, your dressing room is here. So when I got there at 7 o'clock, like I said, we fighting at 9. I get down in the room. They put me in this big old gym room just full of just junk all in it, whereas he had his own private room. But I expect that because, you know, he's their fighter, but I thought I was too. So then the next thing I know, I waited a couple of minutes. I said, okay, tell them they can send somebody down or watch me wrap my hands, and we're going to send somebody down and watch them wrap theirs. They going to say, no, we ain't doing that this fight. Like, what are you talking about? There's no glove inspection. I'm like, why ain't going to be no glove inspection? Since I was 7, I've always had my gloves inspected, period. Mm-hmm. So they was like, well, basically, you sign a contract. If you don't fight, well, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna sue you. You're gonna have to get your own ride from here to the venue. I mean, from the venue to the hotel, from the hotel to Berlin, which is an hour drive, and which even from the venue to the hotel was a 45-minute drive in the snow, and I got my wife with me. So it's like, and then you got to get your own way from here back to L.A., and after that, we're going to sue you. So I said, man, F this. All right, I'll fight this dude. First of all, I ain't got no fear. I said, God is with me. So make a long story short, I'm fighting this dude, man, and you know, first of all, his record was like 9-0. Mm-hmm. Now, he didn't went the distance with like 4 dudes that were bums. I would let my son do 1 or 2 rounds against. So all of a sudden, he hit me. His punch, every punch is harder than any punch I ever felt in my life. Mm-hmm. Like, something's up with these gloves. So then I noticed in the 6th, 7th, and 8th round, because the fight was stopped in the 8th round, the beginning of every round, every time he threw a punch, I would go completely blind in both eyes. Like, as a fighter, when we get hit, we see what you call the stars. You see darkness. I'm seeing total white in both eyes for about 30 to 45 seconds, and then it'll fade out. So in that point, man, I went back to the corner. I still couldn't put it. I didn't understand what was going on. I couldn't process it. It's like just everything happening so fast. In the 8th round, he did the same thing, man, and he jumped on me, and the referee stopped the fight. So, I went into the locker room after the fight. I'm looking in the mirror. I got cuts across both eyelids, almost like somebody took a small carpet knife or razor and just slit my eyelids. Like, when I came back to LA and I let my doctor see it, he said, in my 40 years of being a doctor, this is inconclusive with boxing. I've never seen these kind of cuts. And I'm like, I ain't never either. I mean, we cut on a bra over our eye. Here I am with my eyelids, both eyelids are cut. So whatever it was, it cut my cornea and my pupil. And I remember I lost my vision. I couldn't see. And so he jumped on me, and they stopped the fight as a result of that. So, I've been battling those guys because they won't pay for my surgery. They won't help me or anything, man. And, it was just wrong the way that they treated me. And even that morning, my phone rang. My wife answered my phone, the hotel phone, and somebody anonymously called and said, tell Lamon to be careful. They're going to try something sneaky. And she told me this after the fight. I saw her pick up the phone, but she didn't say who it was, and nor did I ask. And so after the fight, she told me. It all just made sense, man. They set me up.
Yeah. Wow. So what's going on with that now? Is that all resolved?
Well, they was like, if you wanna file a lawsuit, you got to get on a plane, go back to Germany, get a German attorney, and take a German promoter to court. Like, that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I just been dealing with it. What else can I do?
Boxing, man. What a crazy business. It's unbelievable. You could just do whatever you want in this business.
Yeah, if you got the money and power.
Yeah. That's sad, man. That's really sad. And you're retired now? How's your vision now?
Just had another surgery to repair my vision, and I'm just waiting to see how much of my vision returns, and we'll go from there. Right now, I'm just content upon training people, and training these guys, man, and I'm teaching them the sweet science.
Yeah, that's great, man. And are you sparring people still?
Well, I probably will once my eye gets recovered, but right now I'm not sparring. I'm just working the mitts with guys.
Do they expect your vision to get better, or they just don't know yet?
They don't know.
No,
they don't know.
Awesome.
Yeah, they do expect it to get better, but how much better? They said they're not sure.
So you're not totally blind in that eye, right?
No.
Yeah. What's your vision in both eyes? Is both eyes damaged?
No, it's just one. I don't know what my vision is in my left. In my right is 20/20 though.
Yeah. Is there anybody who would help you in boxing? Is there anywhere you can go for help?
Well, I don't think so. They don't have pensions for boxers, man. It's like, you get hurt, it's on you if they don't cover it. And they said that they wouldn't cover it because it was overseas.
That sucks, man. Lousy business.
I mean, I heard all the horror stories about fighting overseas, but I didn't think it would happen to me because I'm a sportsman for boxing. You don't read about me in the tabloids. I don't have all the negative things that hangs over my head. So I didn't think that would happen to me.
Yeah, it's sad, man. And where do you train fighters now?
I'm training fighters now in LA, man, off of Olympic. It's in West LA. It's off of Olympic and Bundy.
Yeah, do you own the gym?
No, I don't own it. I just run the gym.
And so you're just training the fighters. You training professional fighters? You got any good prospects?
Well, I just got some up-and-coming fighters, man. Nobody that you would know. My gym is called FC Gym, which is F is in Frank and C is in car, fcgym.com. you can go onto the website and check it out.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of trainer are you? Who taught you the most? Is it Bill Slayton you kind of are the most like? Your style of training?
You know what, man? You can say that, but I had another trainer named Bill Slayton, Bill Brown as an amateur that really taught me everything that I need to know as a boxer. And then Bill Slayton taught me everything I need to know as a fighter and an inside fighter, you know. So I just kind of learned from both of those guys and put my own little spin to it. So I teach the art of fighting now, the art of hitting without getting hit.
Yeah, and I know you could never have Bill Slayton replaced. What kind of trainer was Buddy McGirt?
Buddy McGirt is a good trainer, man. You know, he'll get you in shape, and you know, I think he can lead a guy in the corner. You know, if you pay attention to what he say, I think Buddy's he's a terrific trainer.
Yeah. And how about Jesse Reed? Did you get along good with Jesse Reed?
What's that?
You and Jesse Reed hit it off pretty good when he was training you?
Yeah, Jesse, yeah, man. Yeah, he's a friend of mine. You know, I nothing bad to say about Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I already have my mind made up about who was going to train me. So, you know, it was like I knew I wouldn't stand with Jesse, but I knew I needed him at that time.
Yeah. So out of your whole career, who gave you the best advice in your whole life or career?
Bill Slayton, no question.
What'd he say?
What didn't he say?
He taught you everything.
Yes, sir. Taught me how to be a man and be a fighter.
Yeah. And what do you got to say to your fans? You got a lot out there, Lamon.
Man, what I say to my fans, man, it's anybody listening is, look, if your mind is set on something that you're going to do, well then, in order for you to achieve it, the first thing is you can't go by what somebody else tell you, because people told me I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that when it pertained to boxing, and I became everything that I believed that I could be, which was a world champion. And if I were to listen to people, including family members, even close family members, I wouldn't even be here. So that's what I tell people. Believe in yourself and do everything you're supposed to do and everything you think you can beyond on being successful, whatever it is that you're trying to do in life, no matter what it is. You can achieve it. I did. So it can be done.
Beautiful words, man. Thanks for talking to Real Combat Media, Lamon. Appreciate your time.
Anytime, brother. Thank you, man.